What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the Ride to the Dr. Eric K. Coleman Show. I am your host, Dr. Eric K. Coleman, and today we are going to be talking about how do you know? How do you know that you were in love? How do you know that that was the right person that you chose, the one that you let get away, the one that you wanted to pursue, but you probably didn't have everything that you needed at that point in time to make sure that the relationship would be able to be sustainable. So before we get into the clip of the day for the men's roundtable talk, i.e. a Black Love Story series, please, ma'am, please, sir, subscribe to the channel so that you can be abreast to all of the content that is coming from this platform. Let's go ahead and jump into the clip of the day so that we can provide some commentary.
We are here with the Black Love Men's Roundtable. My name is Belief. I do create content on fatherhood. We're going to have all the gentlemen here introduce themselves. We're going to start with Rodney.
Yeah, Rodney Rakai, television host, entrepreneur, father.
What's up, y'all? Morris Robinson, actor, father.
Anytime Barriola, husband, father, believer, entrepreneur, creative director.
Peace, good people. Kariga Bailey, angel father, author, storyteller, Black love practitioner.
All right, so we're going to talk about love today, right? In a very interesting way, because we want to kind of give a little bit of context for where we all are, all different ages and different seasons, learning different lessons in married or in relationships with different people, right? And so can you tell us a little bit about how you met your significant other, or for those of you
He dropped his head real quick. Apparently, he's not in a relationship.
I'm in a relationship with Christ.
Best relationship ever.
right?
He said, I'm in a relationship with
Go
Christ.
ahead and start, please.
Oh man, how did my wife and I meet? So we were in Tallahassee, we went to FAMU, and I saw her in this dress, and I was like, damn, I had a hat on, and I had like a suit, and I didn't want to go out that night, so I felt like I looked like Boys to Men with the hat and the suit look, and it wasn't my like normal thing, so I was embarrassed, like I didn't have the confidence to step to her. The next day I saw her at an Avant concert. I'd never seen her in town. So I saw her and I was just stuck in my steps and I stared at her. It was kind of creepy. I was just staring at her and she was talking to another dude. So she stopped talking to him. She came up to me and said, "You know it's rude to stare."
Oh,
And at that point I was
Energy.
Got him.
was Read Your Mind
Okay,
playing?
what year was this? Because you said Avant concert.
Bruh, I'm 40 years old, man. This was like 2005, 2004. It's a long time ago. Maybe before then, 2003 maybe?
Yeah.
It's a long time ago, but man, she didn't give me the number at first. She made me earn her respect and her reverence. She made me like be her friend. She forced me to be her friend if I had.
One thing I always tell women when I'm counseling them or counseling couples in relationships or seeking relationships or even in marriage, men respond to standards. If you set a low standard, that's what we're going to respond to. If you set a high standard, we have two options: either move on or we respond to that. So, ladies, you have a superpower at your disposal. Create the standard. Men will respond to it.
I would have any relationship with her at all. And that taught me a lot about her and it made me respect her. Because I was used to getting my way. You know what I mean? And it was the first time I've been challenged in a way where a woman kind of set her intentions and she stood on them. And she wasn't swayed by like, charisma or whatever the other kind of things I was doing to women. And she wasn't studying any of that. So that made me kind of further pursue her. And I'm still pursuing her, brother.
Okay, I love that. I have to ask this question because this is what I want to be the theme. So the first question is, how did you know you were in love with her?
Oh man, it was automatic. It's like I think,
instantly.
So first, I think you have to define love, right? Like,
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, let's stop there for a second because that's what I talk about all the time on this platform is we have to define this thing called love, because if you're entering into a relationship with different perspectives, different connotations or definition of what love is, then you're automatically starting off on the wrong foot. And so what we put forth on this platform, the Dr. Eric K. Coleman Show, is the crux of love means that you are esteeming someone else above yourself, and you are putting their well-being front center. So that means whether you need to tell them the truth, whether you want them to make sure that they can become, and it is not about selfish ambition. This is not about selfish gain of what I want out of a relationship, but I genuinely want you to be better for yourself, whether or not I am in the picture or not. That is the crux essence of when we talk about real love. And so when we talk about genuine being in love with somebody, this person affords you the opportunity to where you are able to step outside of yourself and be able to change, for you to be better, for you to grow, develop, and to become a better version of yourself, that you will be able to operate against your current nature. Meaning, if I know I do not exude patience, then this person, because I am in love with them and they make me want to be a better person, they make me want to grow, they make me want to work on myself, they make me want to take this retrospective look inside myself to see what am I doing that is totally counterproductive to this relationship, then it is making me want to make that personal change so that it can benefit myself personally, but then it can also benefit the person that I am in a relationship with.
There's all these different notions as to what love is. Is it an emotion? Is it a feeling? It's patient, right? It's kind.
As we know,
it's forgiving.
Love is action. You're actually doing something. You're not being stagnant.
Like when you're
not stalling.
To succumb to that, willing to let that wash over you and like totally just like change you from inside out, and you feel new. You feel different. You feel like, I don't know this side of myself. You know what I'm saying? Like it's new. It's kind of uncomfortable. It's like you're in it.
Yeah.
Because now you're patient. I'm not a patient guy, right?
Yeah.
Now you're forgiving. Now you don't keep record of wrongdoing. Now you're finding yourself going in spaces that you didn't even know existed, because love is infinite, overwhelming experience, right?
Absolutely.
It's like sustaining, it's life-giving, and it's what we all need. It's what we all desire.
Yes, sir.
So she just felt safe and familiar, man. Like she felt like I knew.
Yeah.
Like I never known like that.
It's fire. That young?
But I didn't move on that knowledge.
Okay.
Because men always think they gotta have everything together, stuff, this amount of money in the bank and blah, blah, blah. And she
But isn't that what society creates, that men have to have all that together? I mean, let's be honest about that.
taught me otherwise. Like she taught me that, like, let's build together. Yeah. You don't have to do it by yourself. A lot of guys think they gotta be 100% like fully realized and actualized before they.
That's interesting though, because like as we're not the same age, and you met your partner so much.
I know I was not fully actualized when I met my wife, but praise God, she didn't focus on the actualization. It was, the drive, the determination, the ambition to get to that point.
Earlier on in your life than I could ever imagine. Now I feel like at this age, women want us to have so much more together because we are older, right? The expectation is that we have the foundation laid to a degree. Now we have a house ready for them to move into. And I do not know that, it's a different experience now at this age. I'd wonder at 38, 36, 40 years old, what that interaction would be like today if you weren't given the space to build, because we don't have that opportunity anymore as very single, very, very single men, especially living in LA.
I disagree when it's the right one.
Okay, we'll talk about it, Lawrence. Come on, dog. Talk about that new love. You know what I'm saying?
Because I was talking like Rodney. I was feeling the same way. Like, I gotta get the car. I got the crib, but is the account not really looking like it's supposed to be looking? And then when you get the right one, she like, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Let's build this up together. And that's how I knew that
that's fair. That's a fair point.
Because it was the way she was moving with me. And
how old is she?
She's younger than me. She's 27 and I'm 32.
So this level of grace that she affords you because of her age, I feel like I date generally like.
That's a fair point, what he's saying, too. I get what he's saying. She afforded him the ability and the grace to do that. But to his point, the gentleman in the white, he's saying that she gave you the ability to do that. That's not every case. That's not every scenario.
Like mid to upper 30s. Age matters in these conversations of
Age does matter. Let's not pretend like age does not matter in these conversations, because yes, it does. When you get to a certain level, when you get to a certain age in life, there is a certain expectation that is just arbitrarily placed there. I'm not saying that it's fair, but let's not pretend like that is not a factor. We got to be real about that.
love, like where people are. I truly believe that when you start dating women of a certain age,
Yes,
the playing field is different.
absolutely.
But she got a 7-year-old. So when you got I know I got an 11-year-old. So I know when you got a kid, that age goes up.
It's different.
See, here's the thing right here with bruh man, in the black here. Let me see if I can get back over to him. Yeah, right here in the hoodie. Yes, to the right. Yes, I agree with you. Yes, she has a 7-year-old. He has an 11-year-old, and the factor being played here is that they both have children with other people. Yes, what he's doing right now, which I do not agree with, that he's being very anecdotal. He is making his experience solely alone to be the general rule for everything across the board. No, sir. That is your experience. That is your lived experience. So you cannot arbitrarily place that as a general rule of thumb without any supporting data, without anything else to suggest that this is something that we need to abide by as a general rule of thumb. So I would respectfully disagree with him in that, because he's being very anecdotal, and he is just arbitrarily stating that because of his experience that this is how it's supposed to be across the board, and that's just not the case.
Pressure of time is weighing on a woman. Her interactions are a lot more curt because she's on a different timeline. At 27, she has so much. She's not thinking about.
She's 27 and she's African. African, they ready to get.
He is being so objective right now.
Every variable.
He's contextualizing this.
What are you talking about?
Yes, he's throwing it right there. He is contextualizing this. He is contextualizing this so critically and so finite, to where, hey, I married a 27-year-old. She has a child and she's African, and he's thinking that just those 3 points of criteria is subjective to everyone else. That should be the measuring stick. That should be the ruler, to where every other and all relationships should be measured, and that's just not accurate. That's just not fair. So I'm not rocking what he's saying right there, and I'm glad the other brother pointed that out, that he is being very critical right now, that he is making this very anecdotal.
Now, but she like, if we gonna do it now, she ready to build. I mean, granted, I got myself together,
Sure.
but I don't own a house. I got a nice condo. You know what I'm saying? I make great money, but I just felt like the stakes were so much higher for me when I just overanalyzed it, because I thought that I needed more than what I had. And I think as young millennials, we be thinking we need way more, and we don't. When she's solid, she gonna be solid. That's just how I feel. I don't think age got nothing to do with it.
All right, so I gotta pull it over to Kariga, man, because I feel like with you and Fihab, like, it's just so solid. But how did it like start, and when did you know, right?
This conversation is fire.
we started sparring.
I love it. I love the dance. How did I meet her? How did I know? I met her in high school, and I was invited by a friend to come to like this concert, this musical. Felicia's a classically trained pianist, right? Mm-hmm. Plays piano, and she was she's also a vocalist, so she was in this group, and I had a little bit of time before someone would assume I was a guest of somebody else. or I can be a new guest of a new person. And I went down before the show started and I introduced myself. No, I did not introduce myself, but I went down, we made eye contact, and that should have been enough to be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? So she comes to come see her friend who's sitting beside me. And in my mind, she could have walked the other way. It's an aisle, I'm in the middle of the aisle. So you can come from that side where I'm not sitting, but she came from the side that I was sitting, right? To come talk to her friend. So she walked right past me. You know the church scoot? When you got that little space in the aisle?
Back it up on you a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
So right there. And yeah, this is high school. But at that time, I still didn't know what it was or what it was his love. She began to show up deeply for what I cared about. I got a big family, 8 siblings. And in my family, you have responsibility for the siblings under you. And when I went to Hampton, without being asked, she started to do for my younger siblings what I used to do, the pickups, the drop-offs. And I very much disliked it, actually.
Wow.
Because in my mind, it was like, oh, you seem kind of permanent.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, right?
Absolutely.
But at every level, her character showed who she was.
Yes, sir.
And that was romance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Then there's this thing that I've come to learn that like romance is really the low-hanging fruit on the experience of love.
Yeah.
When you do commit to someone, and now this is life you're living, you will endure changes, unplanned changes. And if you're blessed to have a long-standing relationship, you will experience loss. To be a young couple and experience the losses we have, that's the thing. It doesn't fit our age category to have as many losses. But I will say this, bro, like the love that I live in now, the love that I co-create with her, and the love we give to the world and the love we experience exceeded anything I thought I could have with a woman and exceeded anything I thought I would have with her when I laid eyes on her. This has nothing to do with the deepest desires of let's build a life together. This is one like we are literally co-creating a new world.
Amen.
Can I just kind of talk about? I feel like, you know, with Yvette and I, right? There was no limit. Like it just became, I will, and ... My wife, amazing, right? I didn't know she was going through what she was going through, right? But she said, I'm not doing well. And she said, I have to leave. And if you would have told me I would be married and my wife would leave me, I would have never believed you, right? But she had to leave and go away for like a solitude, like a silent retreat, and experience God in a way that she was not experiencing, and left me with 4 kids and a business and the fresh death of my sister and the death of my cousin right during the midst of that. And a part of me that felt abandoned and was like angry because I was like, why am I feeling all of this alone? I realized that through counsel was that my wife had been operating at 40%, right? And I needed my wife at 100. And so we only want her at 100%. So whatever we got to do to get her back to 100, right, is what was necessary. And then once I knew that, I was like, oh, she's not the one I'm married. She's a different person, right? Every time.
Okay, let's stop there for a second. We talk about that here on the platform in the book, Paradigm Thinking Differently About Relationships. Just that very thought, that perspective of this is not the person that I married. Now, there's 2 variations to that, or 2 thoughts, 2 processes of thoughts that I interject here when people say this term, well, you are not the person that I thought. Well, number 1, did we overlook the yellow signs and the red signs of what this person presented when we were courting, when we were dating? Or are we expecting this person to just stay stagnant in who they are when we first got together and not grow? Because both of those scenarios are dangerous. You're saying that I want this person to be the same when we got together. So let's just say you got together at 18 years old. You know, you're still, for all intents and purposes, you're very immature in your view and thought process of life. And so you're saying that you want somebody, after you've been married for 20 years, you still want them to think and move as an 18-year-old. That doesn't make sense. And number two, if there were signs when you first got together that, well, you've changed. Well, people grow. People change. People grow into themselves. People evolve. And as we are evolving and growing individually, we are making intentional decisions to make sure that we are growing together as a couple, as a unit. So we really got to think about this whole notion, this whole idea of, this is not the person that I fell in love with.
My wife, Yvette, has had a child. She's become a different person, almost, you know. She's a different version of herself. And I'm getting to know her over and over and over again. So the pursuing of love in this relationship also comes with a little bit of failure, right? And a little bit of heartache. And so I just want to bring that to the table as we talk about lost love, whether that be in failed relationships or in marriage right now or in relationship right now. It's like sometimes it don't feel right, you know?
Yeah.
So can we discuss that? Rodney.
I'll go. So I've been in two very long-term relationships. Well, long-term relationships, one of 4 years and one of 7 years. And the relationship that I was in for 7 years with the most amazing, beautiful, kind, warm-blooded woman that I've ever known. To this day, she is still my absolute best friend. When I go through joyous moments, she's the first person I want to call. When I go through hardship, she's the first person that I want to call. But I decided to end the relationship maybe like 4 years ago because I was not in a place of being able to reciprocate the love that she was giving me. And
not in a position to be able to reciprocate the love that you were given.
Like, it's not you, it's me.
That's a thought right there.
You can't really say that, but at the end of the day, like, I can't give you what you're looking for right now because I don't know who I am. I do not know who I am right now. And you're looking at me for these answers and for these definitive actions. And I can't give them to you because I'm not even definitively acting on my own behalf right now.
So let me comment on that piece. That is coming actually from chapter 1 when we talk about self-examination. Have we had these conversations with ourselves to really understand, do I know who I am? Do I know what I expect before I am arbitrarily putting this notion out here to other people, what I expect of them? Am I able to give to myself and am I able to give to the other person the same level of intensity that I am expecting someone else to give to me? And we have to be real with that. Chapter 7, your perception is not always reality in the book. Please, ma'am, please, sir, if you do not already have the book right here, Thinking Differently About Relationships, please, get the book. I promise you it will bless you. It will give you some tangible steps. It will give you some tangible questions to pose to yourself. Some self-reflection so that we can do the work on ourselves to make sure that we are showing up and we are exposing ourselves and that we are presenting ourselves in a positive light in our relationships so that we can get the things that we are desiring out of our relationships, whether it is professional, whether it is personal or relationship or parental. And so I'm glad this young man said this here, that he knew within his heart of hearts that he was not presenting himself in the best light. He did not even understand himself. So how in the world was he able to give himself or to be able to articulate to somebody else what it is that he needed in the relationship.
I don't know what I'm doing in life, and I can't steer you wrong because I don't know where I'm going. And
It's real, man.
when I tell you the pain that I felt I didn't have the words then that I have now, but trying to articulate this to this woman who I had the highest level of affinity and passion for, and I'm looking at her in real time and I feel her heart breaking, I feel her soul depleting. Sent me into a further spiral because I felt it, and I still feel it to this day. I still replay that conversation. I still see her face. I still feel her energy literally go from here all the way to the floor. And what it has done for me the last, 4 years and change is it has made me never want to invest myself in another relationship for the sake of not wanting to put somebody else through that experience. I recognize that I am painful to love.
Brother.
I am painful to love.
I think that I could experience, and over the course of the last 4 years, acclimating to LA, thinking to myself that I'm not worthy of the love that I once had.
Wow.
Thank you for sharing that. That is a lie that you're not worthy of the love that you once had, though. For sure. That's a deep-seated. There's a thing there. It's almost like a spiritual thing. There's something there, but it's a lie.
I recognize that now.
Yeah.
I'm coming out of that now. But now it's tough because I live in LA. So you're like, oh,
So
shit.
go back to her.
It's not just that easy.
It sounds
It's
like
not.
it
It's
is.
not. It's not that easy, man.
The way you just talked about her, I hope she see this and wants you back.
I think love is tough, man. Love is tough to navigate. And I think that so many times we talk in indefinites. And I'm a Gemini from Jersey who grew up in 2 households. My whole life has been split, living in 2 worlds. So it's never just nothing is ever just like one thing and that's it for me.
Yeah.
I still don't know.
I have to challenge that.
I love this conversation because they're challenging one another, as brothers, and it's
think that
respectful.
sometimes
I love this.
And I don't know the exact situation and all that, right? But I've watched people leave relationships because they weren't ready or something wasn't right. But good people are really hard to find.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's almost like how you talking right now. Like, you sound like it's impossible. Like, I live in LA. I have this. I got that. You know what I mean? But it's like when you find someone who's worth it, you hold on with not just your arm, you with your legs. Like, you just holding for dear life, right? Because there's something about people, right, that no matter what type of person it is and which relationship, like some people are blessed to have great mothers and great fathers and great brothers and sisters and friendships. And when you find a good partner, it changes everything for you. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't want to believe that for you. You know what I mean? But I trust that you know yourself and your situation. You know what I'm saying? But I would hope that there's more belief on your side for better, because I mean, like, as someone who's experienced a transformation, right? And you talking, I was beyond broke. Like, when I didn't even know we was going on a date. She was like, hey, you want to go to Starbucks? I was like, for sure. I had $5 on a gift card, bro.
Yeah.
I said,
I want to go ahead and stop the clip right there. And what I really want us to really talk about, fam, for the remainder of the show is that we really got to be able to have this self-reflective conversation with ourselves to be able to understand who we are, what are the expectations, how are we presenting ourselves, how are we engaging in relationships, so that other people we'll be able to know who we are from an authentic perspective and from an authentic state. So as we continue to do this work on ourselves, fam, be real, have the honest conversation, understand where you are. Don't expect other people to figure it out when you don't even understand what it is. So again, I truly appreciate this conversation on today about the men's round table, as they're talking about how did they know they were in love and what were the the pitfalls, what were the struggles and the current challenges that they deal with in their daily walk in their relationships with their significant others. So please, family, until next time when we meet again, please continue to think differently about relationships. Peace.